I wanted to be treated with respect, and I wanted to be valuable to the client beyond any of my competitors. Now, once I started outselling every single person on the sales team, including the manager who was trying to tell me not to do my techniques, and in fact, I was outselling him 5-1, and he had been there for 8 years cherry-picking the best accounts, and I was bringing in monster, huge accounts that nobody else could even get on the telephone because I wasn't selling advertising. I was selling the opportunity for that executive to learn something that would be of value. Becoming a master is not about doing 4,000 things. It's about doing 12 things 4,000 times.
The Ultimate Sales Machine presents the CEO Mastery Show for entrepreneurs looking to grow faster, better, smarter. If you would like to have a profound breakthrough in your business, talk to our team live by visiting chetholmes.com/breakthrough. Good advice is contextual. Get your answers at chetholmes.com/breakthrough.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your CEO Mastery Call with your host, Chet Holmes.
Well, welcome, everybody, and this is our CEO Mastery Conference, which is for our best clients, and we basically look to help you get some breakthroughs on these conferences and have a lot of fun. Just take a few minutes right now and write down, what area of my business, boy, would I like to get a breakthrough. And a breakthrough is an idea or a concept that propels you forward in a way you previously never thought of, didn't understand, couldn't apply, or it's a new, hopefully profound development in the way that you function, and it causes you to leap forward. So where in your business would you like to get a breakthrough? Take a few minutes and write that down while I take a sip of my tea. Hey, Steve.
Hi, Chet. How are you?
I'm good, bud. I'm good. So there's a couple hundred of our best clients listening. So why don't you tell them a little bit about what you do, and then let's see if we can find you a breakthrough. Tell them a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, basically we have a patented suite of solutions that helps mostly larger businesses and medium-sized businesses before they go ahead to invest thousands or millions into their design and advertising. We help them make sure that the way that the things actually look will bring maximum profits. And we have a patented research system that shows different elements that have been proven within exact target markets that our clients go after.
You want to give us an example?
Sure. For example, Unilever is interested in selling hair products, and they have this professional line that they recently purchased. So they're doing a research study to see how to get professional hair stylists to endorse the products that they design to their clients, and therefore to raise sales on the shelf at major grocery chains and things like that. So that's one example. And we tell them the colors, the shapes, the different types of complexity levels of designs and so forth and so on that are proven to trigger happy emotions and buying instincts in the exact people they're going after.
Okay, so where do you need a breakthrough in your business?
Yeah, currently the most important thing that I see is to establish, I just wrote this down, it says a self-sufficient sales force of top producers.
Okay.
We have the operations down as a system fully self-sufficiently, and I'd like to be able to have a sales force that can essentially run itself, or with a manager that I can oversee.
Okay, and then you just got into my stuff, right? You're new to it. You don't have the full training program on anything yet, right?
To the Chet Holmes method? Yeah, I've read the book. I went to Business Mastery in Vegas. And,
right.
That's
okay.
It. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know that there's a lot of stuff that we teach about that whole top producer model.
Yeah.
The problem with your, or it may not be, what I would recommend for you is it's probably a core story model. The 6 most important aspects of branding and, grabbing attention in the new millennium. Mm-hmm. And, again, in your case, the higher up you go in the organization, the better it is for you, because then the more you can charge for what it is you sell. So imagine I'm the CMO at McDonald's, the Chief Marketing Officer, or I'm at, Procter & Gamble, where they're doing 100 and, new products every year, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer over there, and I get a phone call, and it says, yeah, hi, I'm with CEO Visual Targeting. Are you familiar with us? No, I'm not. Okay, well, we're a research-based company that helps companies profoundly improve their branding and their ability to target and attract the exact kind of buyer that they want. And have you heard anything about this kind of research? No, I haven't. Okay, well, because this is at the very cutting edge of communication today, I'm sure you know that the Clutter Factor, the amount of commercial messages that everybody receives has grown so dramatically, and then the traditional vehicles that would be used, like television and radio, have gone down, and print, have gone down in their readership and viewership. So this is creating a lot of challenges for marketing executives like yourself. Are you seeing some of these challenges yourself? Of course I am. Okay, great. Well, that's why we took it upon ourselves to commission a study and go out there and take a hard look at what are the biggest challenges facing companies like you today, and what are some of the ways to really break through that clutter. And to our delight, this research effort really created a compelling and fascinating educational session. And have you heard about that program? It's called The 6 Most Important Insights to Branding in the New Millennium. Have you heard about that report? No, I haven't. They're going to say no, but I'm just trying to show you how you keep the guy, communicating with you as you go through the pitch. And then you say, well, I know you're the Chief Marketing Officer, and I'm just curious if you're the type of executive that likes to be at the cutting edge of the most advanced techniques for marketing today. Now, it's hard. That's an impossible question to say no to, you know what I mean? So again, guys who are listening, you need to ask the question in a way that you're not going to say no. So you see how, but this whole education-based sales approach is very different than, hi, I want to come and sell you my stuff, I want to show you my stuff. If you're offering to teach me something that's of value to me, that's a lot more sexier to sell. But here's the most important thing, is then if you look at what your strategic objectives are, as someone who is in a sales capacity, it's the same for every company, that the education-based sales approach of what's in it for me is a lot more dynamic and can get you a lot more appointments, and can get you appointments with entire committees. And again, remember that this was all developed. I used to sell advertising, and I hated being treated like a salesperson. So I would go out and I would do all this research. And picture this, I'm 26, 27 years old, living in New York City, and selling advertising for a very wealthy family in New York. This is before I went to work for Charlie Munger. And I would call up and say, listen, I'd say we, even though I was the one doing all the research myself. And my boss, he was like, fighting me every step of the way. You don't need all this research. All you need is your rate card and your circulation report and your readership study. What's all this stuff about the market, the industry? You don't need to know all that. And the reason I needed to know all that is because I didn't want to be treated like a salesperson. I wanted to be treated with respect, and I wanted to be valuable to the client beyond any of my competitors. Now, once I started outselling every single person on the sales team, including the manager who was trying to tell me not to do my techniques, and in fact, I was outselling him 5-1, and he had been there for 8 years cherry-picking the best accounts, and I was bringing in monster, huge accounts that nobody else could even get on the telephone because I wasn't selling advertising. I was selling the opportunity for that executive to learn something that would be of value. So that would be what I would do if I were you, Steve, and then you could get to the Fortune 500, and then I would just do a series of mailers, just like it explains in the book, just like we teach in our training programs, whole Dream 100 effort, where, you've got cool little gifts and, some play on that, like, we have a yo-yo and it says tired of your sales going up and down. I mean, you're looking to do branding. So we did flashlights and, shine a light on this area, or don't be in the dark about this, that kind of a thing. You want to play off of the little gift. But the whole idea of the gift is not to send an expensive thing. It's to send something that just gets them to open the package and take a look at it and go, oh, that's funny. Oh, a little flashlight. Oh, good. I'll take that home.
If you would like to have a profound breakthrough in your business, talk to our team live by visiting chetholmes.com/breakthrough. Good advice is contextual. Get your answers at chetholmes.com/breakthrough.
So that's, and then of course it's all the sales superstar model. The attack and everything like we explained. And I did a mass teleconference this morning with a whole bunch of CEOs, and I was saying, look, you got to be ready for what I call the churn and burn. And you should probably have a two-tier effort. One effort is to the large, mother lode like, Procter & Gamble, and Johnson & Johnson and SC Johnson, these companies that have, hundreds of products who, if they become clients, you won't need any other clients. Those three guys will keep you busy the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. But those deals take a while to close, and you should have a graduated process, step 1, step 2, step 3, and it's small steps that lead to bigger steps. Mm-hmm. I've had 60 Fortune 500 clients. I got every one of them myself cold calling, just like I'm telling you to do, except I was selling the, 8 philosophies back in the day when I was chasing Fortune 500. I don't chase them now. They come after us, which is great. We just got Intuit as a client. It's a $4 billion company.
That was great.
They came after us. One of the key executives there read the book, so I just presented for 19 of their guys, showed them a whole core story sales model, and blew them off their chair. Mm-hmm. Like they'd never seen anything like that. The stuff we taught them about what was going on in their industry, they didn't even know that fraud, by the way, check fraud, has increased 10,000% in the last 9 years, and that's the big thing they sell. They sell checks, So when we started teaching them all this stuff, and that 400 million checks a year are rejected by banks because of poor paper quality, and they're getting their lunch eaten by big box stores like, Walmart and Costco selling really inexpensive checks for like $50, and theirs are $150, and their business is declining, and they're not even educating anyone as to why their checks are worth so much more money. And in the big scheme of things, by the way, the other thing that their checks come with is for 2 cents a check. So it means you buy 500 checks for $10, you get fraud protection. So if somebody steals or somehow frauds using your checks, which has happened to me, and it was funny because we were on a conference, like 6 people, and like 3 of us had it happen to them. Mm-hmm. And then we gave them the statistics on that too. But they'll take over everything. They reimburse your money. They give you back the money that you've been frauded, and then they take over working with the FBI and the bank. They do it all for you. So do you really care about saving? And then one of the things I had them put into the core story that we presented to them, we did a drama in real life, and we showed a construction company opening who had her check stolen, and another construction company open who also had her check stolen, but she had the Intuit checks, which were, better checks, so they shouldn't have any problems at the bank, and, they fit perfectly in the window envelope, so nobody could steal the account number from looking in the window envelope, and then, of course, when she had fraud, they took care of everything, and the other company, to save $100 on the checks, ended up going out of business from just some simple fraud thing that they were ill-equipped to deal with. Anyway, the point is, that's making a case, and that's what you have to do. So once you get that appointment, then you need terrific data. And the first thing you need to do is put them in pain. So what's the pain? What are they facing? What's going on in their life right now that will rivet their attention? And the clutter factor is a big one. That's a huge one. The clutter factor has grown from 500 commercial messages per day the average consumer received in 1960 to 5,000 today. Actually, I saw another statistic that said 30,000, but I can't find the source for that. So we did find one for 5,000. So some people may be saying, wait, he said 30,000 in another. It's because I read it in a magazine while on an airplane and went, wow, 30,000. And so we started using that, but I don't remember what magazine, what airplane, and I can't find that data again, and we're all about, sourcing our data. So right now I can only prove one source that says 5,000, but still it's crazy. and then the decline of television viewership, the fact that people are fast-forwarding through their, TV commercials, even if they, are watching TV, which they're not, and then, you can make it so that chief marketing officer is wiping his forehead, with sweat by the time you're, 10 minutes into your thing. And then the other thing I would tell you is that make it short, half an hour. You do not want to be doing an hour, but you want a half an hour, great. And then again, when you build these core stories, in your case, you can do them over, we can all do it over GoToMeeting now.
Yes.
And so that's a terrific way because, if you get the appointment live, it's better. There's no question about that. But if the guy starts to push you away, the average person has to receive 8 commercial messages before you even get their interest today. And, something like 50% of all salespeople give up after a single rejection. By the time you get up to 4 rejections, 95% of all salespeople have given up. So what we do is we teach our salespeople that it's going to be 12 follow-ups, and here's exactly what they are. And while you're on the phone, how many different times and how many different ways can you close? Mm-hmm. And so if you can go live, that's great. But if you can't, you say, look, you do this right from the comfort of your favorite chair. Mm-hmm. It's right over the Internet. And you'll see, a stunning array of visual images over a very short period of time. You'll take a little test right there, and it'll show you what what your communication preferences are. It's a really cool interactive experience. And, if you want to be at the cutting edge of marketing today, then this is one of the educations you can get in just 33 minutes that'll do that for you. And I like saying a precise amount of time. Like 33 minutes, 28 minutes, and then the worst thing you want to do when you teach anything over the web, and Michael Cato coming up this exact model is where I'm going to go with you, but because it would work beautifully for you as well. He does catering and things like that, restaurants on the run, I'll talk about in a moment. But the point is that whole education-based approach should get you much higher level of meetings. And then when you do this over the web, you need a lot. Like, have you seen our webinar, Steve?
Yes, I was on one last week, actually.
Okay, so you see that you're seeing 800 images in 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's, every 5 seconds there's a new bullet coming up. And the reason is because if you're going to teach me something over my computer, and you're not putting up a new image in front of my face, like you put up a slide and talk for 5 minutes, guess what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to start checking email. Mm-hmm. I'm going to think that I can pay attention to you and check my email too. But we both know that's not really an effective way to function in the world, okay? So you need to have a new image every few seconds, like you saw ours, where it's pounding away with new information constantly, so that the person sees that. So check back in with me in a month after you put a little bit of that together. And in your case, I meant to say, very important, you should have a 2-tier approach. You've got the Procter & Gamble's of the world, and then you've got the companies my size who you can get to a fairly high-level executive pretty quickly. And if you can make that compelling 28-minute case where I'm going, well, that's worth, $1,700 a month or whatever the service costs, I have no idea. You know what I mean? So that you can then have an instant cash flow method, and that's what will enable you to hire salespeople and pay them nothing unless they make results. But you got to have that machine built. Huh?
And then I train the salespeople how the core story works and make them scripts, but pretty much that they can use or improvise on to kind of take over the. Yeah.
And I gave you your script, right? I just did that for you, and this is recorded, so you can go to Tracy and ask her, hey, how do I get a hold of that?
Oh, perfect.
You want to write that down. And
thank you so much.
The more you spell it out, the beauty of a core story, bro, is that you don't have to count on talent because you know what they're going to say. Mm-hmm. And that's why I insist on that. And remember, all this stuff was built, like, on the front lines of capitalism. Like, this isn't theory. Like, I was a top producer in every job I ever worked in. Mm-hmm. And then the first job I had, I doubled the first supervisory position I had. I doubled the sales of a company for a billionaire. Then he gave me 3 more, and I doubled the sales of them. Then they gave me 3 more, and I doubled the sales of them. And the first one that he gave me, I doubled 3 years in a row. And so, 9 divisions later, I doubled the sales of every single thing he gave me, but one of the key strategies was a core story for each one of those vehicles, so that I knew what those salespeople were saying. And I rehearsed them, I role-played them, and then the scripts were like, and then, like I said, in the script, it's like the guy says, send me more information. You got to come back for that. You got to come back. You got to come back and says, look, I can send you more information, but we're on the phone right now. I know you're not going to read the information. You know you're not going to read the information. So, this is an opportunity. I'll tell you what. Is it worth 10 minutes to you to learn the most advanced techniques? And the guy says, 10 minutes. You said it was a half an hour. I say, well, get on for 10 minutes. If 10 minutes into it, you're bored, you can hang up. You can hang up and disconnect your GoToMeeting, and you just move on with your life. But, in 10 minutes, you're going to know this is a terrific education. So isn't it worth 10 minutes? And the other thing is, research is expensive. Of course, Empire Research Group will absolutely, build core stories for anybody listening. But if you want to do it yourself, you can go on the web and, find some terrific data today about, compelling and branding. And, there's just terrific information out there. But here's the thing, like we talk about the 7 months of marketing, that is a $500,000 study, and then what we've added onto it over the years is probably another couple of $1 million in research and development. So when I say to you, this is $2.5 million worth of learning curve that I'm going to give you in 28 minutes, that's a legitimate thing that you can say. Now, it doesn't mean you spent that money, but it does mean that money was spent in order to gather that research. So you want to have a big number there. Say, look, Mr. Executive, this is $3.2 million worth of data that you're going to see in just 28 minutes that you would never take the time to assemble on your own. We're going to make it easy for you. Now, let me tell you why we do this. We do this because this is our public relations effort. It's our way of putting our foot forward, just like you might read an article that was written about us, but this is way better because it's interactive with a highly trained chief marketing officer trainer, and his entire job in the world is to speak to CMOs just like yourself. And in fact, we're talking to, and name 3 of his competitors right there. We're in touch with, we're talking to, that doesn't mean you got them, but, use phrases that are true, but might imply that, you've gotten further than you have. And, if you look at my stock market clients, it's Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, New York Stock Exchange, Kidder Peabody, rather. So I've had some of the biggest stock exchange companies, and when I was going after them, I would say, I'm going to be showing this, 8 ways to double sales. I'm going to show this to all your competitors. Are you sure you don't want to see it? Okay, so now I'll go to Michael. That gets you started, Steve. Check back with me in a month or two, and let's get you on one of these calls again, and let's see how far you've gotten.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chet.
Okay.
The new CEO Mastery Podcast is here.
Becoming a master is not about doing 4,000 things. It's about doing 12 things 4,000 times.
For entrepreneurs looking to grow faster, better, smarter. Subscribe for more videos. Claim your free Chapter 4 of The Ultimate Sales Machine. This chapter helps you get 9 times more impact from every move you make. Visit ultimatesalesmachine.com. This has been the CEO Mastery Podcast, brought to you by The Ultimate Sales Machine.